So a must-win fight here for MJ Akhmadaliev, with a monstrous fight on the schedule later this year in Japan for Luis Castillo. The biggest opportunity of his career tonight in Guadalajara. This one scheduled for 10. You see right away, as you always do with Akhmadaliev or anyone from that extraordinary Uzbek amateur program, Gabe, just the complexity of the footwork, so much for Castillo to look at and worry about.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's just, you know, those guys, they create angles, quick footwork, and punching off the angles. It's a hard style to face.
Akhmadaliev coming off a third-round knockout victory over Ricardo Espinoza in Monte Carlo late last year, and a big right hook connects there. That's a nice one, and that one has Castillo taking a couple of steps back.
Yeah, that one hurt. That shot hurt Castillo.
Castillo, as we mentioned, facing his second former world champion tonight. 3 fights ago, he was in there with Tomoki Kameda, the former champion, who saw just a couple of days ago taking on Angelo Leo for a world title. Stopped in 5 rounds in that fight. Castillo trying to find his way to the inside.
You know, MJ's applying pressure on Castillo, and he's exhausting him just with the footwork. You know, not really even throwing shots. It's the footwork is so quick. He puts himself in position where Castillo is expecting a counter, as he did right there, and nothing came. You know, it's just MJ knowing how to be in position.
Yeah, and that's what fighters like Akhmadaliev can do. They can drain your gas tank without really taking any risks. Yep. It's just with movement.
Yeah, you know, when you fight with your feet, you know, the feet are so important. They put you in a good position, or they get you out of trouble. MJ just understands that distance.
Some of the very best feet in the game, as evidenced by the backflips that he lands after he scores knockout victories. Castillo offering up a right hand there, caught by the guard of Akhmadaliev. Seconds here of the opening round. Good start for the former unified champion, MJ Akhmadaliev.
That first round was just MJ, a fill-out round for him, seeing what Castillo's bringing to the table. I think you're going to see MJ be a little more aggressive in this round.
Round 2 underway. Lives and trains in Jicapilco, Mexico, which is about 2,600 feet above sea level, and of late it's become a retreat for a lot of fighters who are looking to stage camp there. The William Zepeda camp is there. We've seen the Cuban national team take a trip over there to train for a little while. So it's not likely that we'll be questioning the gas tank of Luis Castillo here tonight. Some jeers from the crowd here already. They can be a little bit unforgiving here in Mexico, Gabe. They want forehead-to-forehead action all the time.
Well, you know, MJ's putting himself in good position, you know, with these angles, creating angles, but he's not firing off the angles.
So Akhmadaliev land one left hand to the body there. That's one of his signature shots, when he can't create that angle and that straight left hand to the body. A devastating shot. Perhaps that's a little bit of a precursor to what he's hoping to put a little bit more mustard on as the fight progresses here.
Yeah, but what I see now is I see Castillo getting a bit more comfortable now, where he's not, he's not kind of having like that jerky style, hesitating, waiting for a counter. He's now a little more relaxed, letting his hands go a little more comfortable.
Castillo with that right hand caught by the elbow of Akhmadaliev.
If you're scoring the round, it's like, what do you like more? Castillo's the one that's actually being busy, letting his hands go, throwing good combos.
Trade body shots there on the inside. Looked like Castillo's right hand got there first.
Yeah, MJ's looking for that perfect shot. That's a good counter. Right hand by Castillo over the top. And he's landed. He just doubled up with a right hand right there. The second one landed.
Castillo working with what he's of sign language. And if you look closely as the fight progresses, Sanchez will do some things to communicate with Castillo during the round. He'll kind of bang on the canvas to create a reverberation that Castillo can hear. He'll shake the ropes at times if he thinks that Castillo could see them without getting distracted. They have found a way to communicate without, despite Castillo's limitations.
And that's smart. You want to have codes. That's something that I used to do with trainers is, just say code words that only we know. You don't want to say, double up the jab, right hand.
Right.
And then the opponent hears it, sets you over the counter.
Akhmadaliev creeping forward just a little bit more here in this round.
With Diaz's corner once is they want him to be more busy, let his hands go more, and I think that MJ's just looking for that perfect shot, and he did it right now. He landed a good left to the liver.
Yeah, that is his shot. That's the one that he's looking for.
Those Uzbek guys love that shot.
You and I were talking about that with regards to Back the Bully as well, and how they're not identical styles, obviously, but obviously came from the same school. And in your fight plan leading up to both Back the Bully fights, that was the shot that you were honed in on, right?
Absolutely. It's a shot that, it's a hard shot. And the thing is...
Oh, good shot there from Akhmadaliev. That one knocked Castillo a little bit off balance. Might have been a footwork issue as well.
Yeah. And the thing about that shot, Corey, is that the way they throw it from an angle where it looks like it's going to come up top. So you kind of, it can put you in a position where you put your guard up and expose your rib, and that's how the shot lands.
Well, sometimes they do bring it up top. About 20 seconds ago, Akhmadaliev landed that sweeping left hand that, again, is putting that thought in Castillo's mind. Where is that left hand going to? Where is it coming from?
What MJ's doing what he needs to do. He's been a little more busy, applying more pressure. Just has to let his hands go a little more.
About 30 seconds here of round 3. Huge left hand there. Akhmadaliev shaking his left hand after throwing that.
Man, but Castillo's doing a good job staying in rhythm with MJ. Even when MJ's having nice spurts, Castillo gets himself back in the rhythm, landing a good shot here and there.
Back to action here, and we'll see if there is any reason for concern here with regards to Akhmadaliev and that left hand. See how busy he is with that shot. That would be a radical change to this fight, Gabe, because Akhmadaliev was starting to land that left hand in a variety of ways. Looked like this fight was headed in a bad direction for Castillo.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown the shot yet. And the problem here with MJ is he's trying so hard to find that perfect shot. Right here, you just got to jab. You got to stay busy. You know, especially when you have a fight lined up. You know, with Inoue, you need to make a statement. You need to look good. And, you know, it's a lot of wasted movements from MJ. They're good movements, but they're wasted movements because he's not making Castillo pay off the movement. You know, he makes Castillo miss, but he's not firing back.
Again, it has been now close to a minute and a half since Akhmadaliev has thrown anything. There he offers up that left hand. Castillo coming back with a right hand of his own to the body. There, Akhmadaliev lets go of that left hand. There's a nice right hook immediately before it.
And you know, at this point, I don't understand why Castillo's backing up so much, because MJ's not busy with the combinations. You know, he's closing distance, but he's just trying to find one
nice
shot.
Right hook there from Akhmadaliev, and a couple left hands. Encouraging sign there from the former champion. He looks for an uppercut there as well.
I think Castillo can save himself some energy and stay in the pocket with MJ and let his hands go. Stay in the pocket right there. That was good right there.
We talked about the gas tank of Luis Castillo, but even the deepest gas tanks can be drained with this amount of movement that we're seeing from Castillo and these big exaggerated maneuvers as well.
Yeah, you know, because Castillo's not comfortable. He's so worried about the counter shot that you can just see it in his face, in his body language. You can tell he's so worried about that liver shot.
Final 10 seconds here of round 4. A busier round here for Akhmadaliev as he finds that left hand to the body.
That was a knockdown because he did get hit with the body shot. You know, the problem with Castillo is he's not comfortable, and when you're not relaxed in the ring, you're burning energy. It's nervous energy.
For Akhmadaliev here tonight, it's a bit of an impossible situation for him. There's very little that you can do that will make someone say, okay, you're ready to challenge the monster, one of the best in the business. Obviously, that fight has been signed, but you know, anything short of about a first-round knockout, and someone is going to ask some questions, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know, and the thing is, you know, I really don't understand why MJ is doing so much wasted movement. And when I say that, I mean, you know, he makes Castillo miss, but he doesn't make him pay. See, right there, he did a slip back. Castillo missed, but there's no counter. There's wasted movement. Again, Castillo misses, no counter from MJ.
Left hand there from Akhmadaliev. He wipes the table with that right hook as well. You know, those sweeping shots from Akhmadaliev, Gabe, when he does throw them, like, they work so well. I mean, he has Castillo out of position so often, and he can catch him kind of on the move, turning the corner. When he does let those go, they seem to have Castillo in trouble quite often.
No, absolutely, and that's why, you know, it kind of throws me off that, you know, MJ makes Castillo miss over and over. See right there, it's constant, and he's not making him pay. But when MJ does decide to throw, you can tell that he's overpowering Castillo. But at what point do you seal the deal?
There's that left hand to the body again. Left hand finding its mark right in the midsection of Luis Castillo, who came back with a left hook of his own, but there again got blasted to the body by Akhmadaliev. do certainly get the impression that with one little turn of the dial that Akhmadaliev could make something happen, and there it is. What a shot from Akhmadaliev, and Castillo is in agony. I don't know how Castillo was up on his feet. Just a minute for Castillo to take those deep breaths and try to recover from that debilitating body shot. The signature shot from MJ Akhmadaliev.
And right here is where I want to see MJ go for the kill. You know, just get him out. Make a statement. Touch that body.
Akhmadaliev stepping to the inside, looking for that same shot. Now throws the right hook to the body. The tender midsection of Castillo.
And you know, Corey, MJ, as he's following Castillo, he's not cutting the ring off. He continues to allow Castillo to exit out to his left. You know, MJ needs to cut that corner and trap Castillo.
Those right hooks to the body that he's starting to throw here, that might help with that a little bit, just cutting off that exit route.
For sure. See right here, you got him in the corner. Don't give him that escape to the left.
Quick uppercut there from Akhmadaliev. It's again one of those shots from MJ that you don't know whether that shot's going to the breadbasket or if it's going to the top shelf.
For sure.
Nice left hand again there from Akhmadaliev. Castillo, a little wobbly, coming out of the Akhmadaliev corner there.
But, you know, MJ puts himself in position. Throw his shots. You know, he's right there in position to throw these shots that take Castillo out of there. Look at that. There's
another shot there from Akhmadaliev, and down goes Castillo. But a 3-inch shot there from Akhmadaliev sends Castillo to the canvas. 40 seconds for MJ to work with here, as he is on the hunt for his third consecutive knockout. Good straight left hand down the middle there from Akhmadaliev with 20 seconds remaining in the round. Akhmadaliev looking for the fight-ending shot. It's Castillo who comes back with a nice right hand and got out of the way of that.
MJ cannot fight Inoue like this. Because look, man, it's a whole different animal right there.
Well, and of course, you want to give Akhmadaliev the benefit of the doubt that he's fighting this way because of the level of competition. That was a right hook that sent Castillo to the canvas. Looked like the feet got tangled at the same time. Not declared a knockdown, but certainly there is a bit of a casual approach here from Akhmadaliev. There's a certainty in his face even when he scored that last knockdown. Like, he's not concerned about what the result of this fight is going to be, which, again, is saying something that he can toy with a man who is 31-6.
Yeah, but you know what, man? You don't play with your food, especially when you have such a big fight lined up. You know, why give Castillo the opportunity to land a lucky shot? Anything can happen in boxing. Why give him that opportunity? If you got a guy that's vulnerable in front of you, you can get him out of there. That's exactly what you have to do. It's too much waiting with MJ. Too much waiting. Where I believe pretty much if MJ did about a 10-15 second onslaught I think the ref has stopped the fight. Castillo, Castillo at this point is on survival mode.
Been a couple of moments in this fight where, again, like we said, if Akhmadaliev were just to turn the dial a little bit to the right, it feels like he could end this one. And, you know, just hypothesizing here, Gabe, is there any utility for Akhmadaliev essentially knowing he has a fight on the books for September in just getting some rounds? Is there any utility to that, or do you think at this point, round 7, just go for it?
No, you don't need
right.
You don't need to get no more rounds, because guess what? Castillo, you get lucky, land a shot, or a headbutt could happen, a clash, you know, or you get cut. Come on, you don't do that. Just get this guy out and move on.
It's a good little left hook there from Castillo a moment ago, just to hammer home your point there. Back comes Akhmadaliev with a 2-punch combination of his own.
You know, and the thing with MJ, he lands at will. Every time he throws, he's landing the shots. Look at that. Nice uppercut. Nice overhand right. It's just a matter of him putting it together and being more aggressive. You got to be more aggressive.
Antonio Diaz waving him in, telling him to apply a little bit more pressure. See if he obeys orders here. Round 8 begins here in a fight between MJ Akhmadaliev and Luis Castillo that many people felt would not reach round 8, and at many times during this fight, Gabe, did not look like it would reach round 8.
You know, this fight can be stopped anytime MJ decides to put his foot on the gas. And, you know, some guys have the killer instinct, some guys don't.
Massive right hook there from Akhmadaliev. Maybe this will be the round where MJ makes that decision. Straight left hand rocks Castillo back against the ropes. Blood now flowing once again. It was temporarily halted by the Castillo corner, but that left hand just opened up that stream once again. You see it flowing now onto his chest as well.
You know, the problem with MJ is he wants to land the perfect shot. So he's not, you know, he doesn't want to just fire. He wants to land the perfect shot. That's a good shot right there. But you got to throw combinations. Sometimes the 1-2 sets up the 3. So who cares if the 1-2 doesn't land? But if the 3 lands, that's what matters. And that's what pro boxing's about. Combinations, putting the punches together.
Straight left hand again, make it 2 there from Akhmadaliev, who was landing at will here in the 8th.
And MJ could have done this 3 rounds ago. See, he's in position to punch. Why is he not throwing the shot?
2, 3 sweeping left hands from Akhmadaliev. Make it 4. And they keep reining in as Castillo is on uncertain legs right now, and a big uppercut has him in trouble. The towel is in, and that is it.
Caballeros, el referee Luis Jimenez detuvo el combate, 2 minutos, 5 segundos. The Ocho Asalto, ladies and gentlemen, referee Luis Jimenez calls a halt to this contest. The official time of the stoppage, 2 minutes and 5 seconds of round number 8. Declaring your winner by TKO, Murodjon MJ Akhmadaliev.